the case here.
No, definitely not. So, guys, we are here on Whirlwind, and this is going to be the deciding game. A very close series here between two very talented players spawning in the top right-hand side. He's going to have to seriously up his PVW style here because he's playing against Wings of Liberty-esque strategies, maybe catching him off guard a little bit due to the lack of transition there on Star Station. What will he conjure up this game? Representing Team Dignitas, we have UK hero BlinG. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have Russia's pride at this tournament at the moment, representing VP Ben Q, absolutely powering his way through with those Broodlords in game number 2 here. How will he finish this off in game 3? Will he be able to do it? It is sLivko.
Now, as you know, I was casting MLG for the community streams this weekend, and I want to say how it's a nice... Yeah, I know, you're supposed to do it too. Wish you could have been there, but you're lame.
It's hard, man. Well, you know, apparently neighbors don't like casting at 5 in the morning. Who knew?
Yeah, that can be a problem, but it's a nice change of pace casting this. You know, as a community cast for MLG, we get a lot of the loser bracket games, but even the sets that we got were a good player against a good player. They were all quick 2-0s, and we've had both 2 sets today being very close 2-1s.
And very long.
Really exciting a game, you know. For all the casting I've done this weekend, over 20 hours worth. This is a nice change of pace.
It's because this is the best, man.
Yeah, European.
Because you're here with me. I will only get you epic games, Sawyer. Don't worry about it.
Good man. Good
always,
man.
Always and forever. So we have the probe here from BlinG. Going to be a little bit annoying to sLivko, but bear in mind, actually, it is moving out of range of that hatchery a couple of times here, and I feel like, yes, indeed, sLivko is going to be able to get the hatch down. So that's not the first time that's happened this time around, but BlinG this time is going to be going straight for that Nexus. So, well, he's really believing in his Forge Expanse here, Zoya.
Yeah, you know, it's still good. You know, the meta, Wings Liberty meta is still popular. I personally prefer the Gateway Expanse, but whatever you're comfortable with, man, go for it. This is a good style. Stick with it if you're confident with it. We've seen him play very well with the openers game 1 and 2. You know, it's just all really stylistic right now, and BlinG's style is more of a passive early game into aggressive timing attacks.
All right. Well, we haven't really seen sLivko sort of abuse the heck out of it yet or anything like that. In fact, he is once again going to be getting down a reasonably early third base here at the 4-minute mark. So, it looks like these players are very happy to be opening up with this sort of style. sLivko, of course, we've seen him so far transition into very Wings of Liberty-esque Broodlord Infestor compositions towards the end of the game, whereas BlinG really embodying a lot more of the Heart of the Swarm units. We can see the Mothership Core being used, the Tempest in the late game composition, but unable to quite make it stick in game 2. So, quick pause here from sLivko. Zoya, I'm going to put you on the spot. You're BlinG. Strictly speaking, towards the end of that last game on Star Station, your composition had all the right ideas behind it to beat Broodlord Infestor. You weren't able to do it. What changes would you make in game number 3?
He was very, very passive throughout most of the game. What you want to do when you're making that kind of transition is you get a Warp Prism out, you fly it around, you take your BlinG Stalkers, you move to the left side of the map, you harass the right side of the map with your Warp Prism, you warp Exalts there. You're constantly, slowly just sacrificing the supply, keeping your opponent home in these cost-efficient trades, while you slowly make that transition to the ultimate composition. You get the High Templar out, you get the Tempest out, and you get the Void Rays out. That's what I really would have liked to see BlinG do that last game, and hopefully he'll be able to change it up this game. If sLivko goes Broodlords this game, though, I'm going to be really surprised. This is a very hard map to pull Broodlords off on.
Well, I mean, it's definitely possible. I don't want to rule it out given what he's done so far, but I completely understand where you're coming from. There aren't that many places for Broodlords to hide out here. If they get caught out in the middle of the map, that's it. They're gone. So I completely see where you're going. But on the other hand, if you get them out in the numbers that we saw in that previous game, I guess sLivko sort of got them to a point where he said, well, guess what? I'm getting this many out and there's nothing you're going to do about it.
Yeah, it just all comes down to how BlinG is going to play this game, really. He seems to be confident with Stargate play. We've seen him go Stargate all 3 games. He probably went Stargate against Storative too. I mean, if you're confident with a build, BlinG has never been a player that's... He's always relied on his mechanics and his execution of builds. He's never been a player like a Naniwa or a Huck where they come up with these creative builds, and they are good in like the best of 3 situation in preparing for WCS. BlinG's always been a player who's just mechanically good and likes to hit the same timing over and over again and just out controls his opponent.
Well, so far, I mean, it hasn't really done him. It's been okay. I mean, he's won all up in this series, and he does really need to focus that extra little bit more to make sure that sLivko doesn't win this game number 3, though. For now, we can see Robotics Facility coming down, of course, post-Stargate. He's getting those Void Rays once again, and we have got the layer coming down now from sLivko. His Roachborn is about to pop as well, so let's see if he tries and go for maybe a little bit of an early game counterattack against a potential third here. He's going to have those 4 Lings are going to be very important out in the middle of the map now, because they're going to be able to scout potentially the timing of a third base from BlinG. And if sLivko, like in game number 1, is able to deny it very, very early on, I feel that would do him a lot of favors going forward.
Now we do see that BlinG is changing up his style decently from game 1 and 2. He's gotten a really quick Robotics Facility and mixing in quick Immortals this game, only committing to the 1 Void Ray. So curious to see what kind of timing BlinG's going to hit. Are we going to see a Sentry Immortal all in? Really good map for that. The chokes into the natural or into the third base are pretty good for force fielding off and catching your opponent off guard. So we'll have to see what BlinG has in mind with this early Immortal.
Well, he's not using his Chrono Boost for anything so far. I'm just keeping a big eye on the Chrono Boost and exactly where it's going. It looks like he's going to be Chrono Boosting a +1 ground armor as it currently stands. He's getting a couple more sentries in with this, so it could definitely be a Void Ray Immortal push. I'm not 100% certain roughly what the timing is going to be on this. He's going with a Mothership Core as well, so a very, very solid army composition coming out from BlinG. And in the meantime, these 2 Void Rays just try to do as much damage as physically possible to these Queens, forcing more Spore Crawlers out of sLivko, so that when this army eventually hits, perhaps he's only dealing with it with Lings and Queens.
We're not going to be seeing an all-in here from BlinG, and I love sLivko scouting in all 3 games. He just started his 4th base. He started it after he confirmed the 3rd base of BlinG. He's been playing this very well, constantly scouting with his Speedlings, constantly having Overlords out on the map, doing a great job of that. BlinG going to be playing a macro game here, getting his Twilight Council as +1 armor is getting close to finishing, and then seeing more Mortals as well, and we'll see when he wants to transition. And we're actually seeing an early Spire here from sLivko. Do you think we're going to be seeing Mutalisk?
Oh, it's difficult to tell at this stage. I mean, he's also getting the 2 hatcheries up. Could we potentially, because he's got the Infestation Pit out now as well, is he thinking about Hive a little bit later on? We are going to see Mutas. All right. So these 2 Void Rays from BlinG that attacked sLivko early on, they're going back to join the army now, but they were so effective early game, Zoya. We actually saw him pick apart Roaches as they were being rallied out into the middle of the map. They forced Spore Crawlers, they tried to pick apart the Queens as well, and just generally did a fantastic job. And this is going to be an interesting way for sLivko to come back into it. How do you see Mutas faring out here?
If you catch your opponent off guard with Mutalisk, it's one of the easiest way to take a quick victory here. Take a look at the units tab for BlinG right now. He's only got a few Stalkers here. Yes, Sentries do shoot up, and Void Rays do help as well, but if there are like 24 Mutas out in the field, then you don't have a good amount of Stalkers and Storm. They're going to catch you completely off guard, and that's what's going on. The main base being sacked right now. BlinG just going to go for the attack here. Drones being pulled. Force fields do go down. Beautiful force fields, only using the minimum amount he needed to catch all of these units, killing off lots of drones. Right now, the natural base being attacked for BlinG. Mutalisk starting to attack down these Stalkers. This is going to be a base race, and I don't know who's going to win here, but right now, I think I might lean a little bit towards BlinG.
This is a very, very tricky situation here. sLivko actually sending more Lings out towards an actual expansion of BlinG as well to support these Mutalisks to make sure that they can get the damage they need done. And here we go, the Lings moving out into the natural expansion. This is going to be a bit of a base race here. And a lot of things getting cancelled over here inside the main base. sLivko trying to defend with a bunch of Lings. That's not going to work out too well. And the Mutas coming in, destroying the infrastructure. The supplies are currently 120 to 92 in sLivko's favor. This is pretty tense.
This is going to be a tough play for sLivko and both BlinG. I mean, this is one of those base race situations where the better player is going to get the edge out here. Let's look at the income tab. There are only 8 probes and there's 59 drones. Trying to find all 8 of them. I think there's 1 probe out on the map, and that's important to get at least 1 out on the map to where you can build buildings. And he's going to lose a lot of his probes here at his 3rd base.
And that's huge because the amount of damage already done. Yeah, it's pretty big.
I don't know. sLivko is playing this better right now, but BlinG has the better army. It's all going to come down to how they handle the base race.
And we can see actually that there are a couple of pylons out in the middle of the map for BlinG. So if this comes down to an elimination race here, sLivko's... he has got the base in the 12 o'clock position that is still mining. That's going to be pretty important because BlinG hasn't actually scouted that yet, guys. So that could play an absolutely crucial role. But look, there we go. There is the Mothership Core with the mass recall. And BlinG is going to try and defend at his third base. However, sLivko still has 2 bases up in mining. He's got the 9 o'clock base where some zealots are moving up towards it now. But he has the 12 o'clock base that BlinG doesn't know about.
There are only 2 probes out on the field. BlinG can barely afford to make any more right now. He's just about to be able to make a 4th probe in production. If he loses his harvesters, that is it. Now there are zealots harassing this 4th base here in the bottom left. Some zealots and sentries just kind of going at their own pace here. BlinG's doing pretty well right now, but if he loses his harvesters, that's going to be it.
Yeah, you're completely right here. I think the it's an interesting decision for him to warp home because on the one hand, he will be able to defend this third base. On the other, he just doesn't have an economy to speak of right now, and he kind of has to win the game with this army. And sLivko, in the meantime, is just continuing to mine from this 12 o'clock base. He has enough minerals to put down another 4 hatcheries if he wants to as well. So, ooh, and these drones are actually going to be leading BlinG to the 12 o'clock base. So that's pretty important for... Oh no! He moves away the zealots at the last second. BlinG still has not scouted this base, and that is huge.
He has to get an idea of what's going on. He still has this observer here. He needs to be a little bit more active with that, but BlinG moving across the map for what could be the final attack. Goes for a blink underneath all of these mutalisks. Goonstabs are 18 mutalisks, 32 drones versus quite a decent army of BlinG. He's only got 8 stalkers, 6 sentries, and 2 void rays, but I feel that BlinG can take this on. I love the fact that sLivko's just kind of floating on the outside of the army, keeping tabs on it, excuse me as I hiccup, and trying to like maybe catch the Mothership Core off guard.
Yeah, he's decided that he can't take this army on head-on, but he also recognizes that he's mining and BlinG isn't right now. So, oh, nice recall, and sLivko needs to get out of there, and he does actually successfully get out. So, BlinG managing to snipe off, crucially, that 12 o'clock base. Note that the spawning pool is still there for now, but sLivko is back to mining, okay, there we go, over at the 9 o'clock position. So, he's getting his layer up now as well, trying his best to use his superior economy here to get back into this game. BlinG, in the meantime, like you said, he's got the superior army, but he doesn't have the bank and he doesn't have the workers, and it looks like sLivko's going in here, picks off a Void Ray, and running away with those mutalisks. I'm not sure that was worth it as a trade.
Also on the 13 mutalisk, I agree with you. I don't know if that was worth the trade. I do like the fact that he's taking a hidden base in the bottom right. That's probably going to go unscouted by BlinG for most of the game. Mutalisk coming in the main base, going to take on that Twilight Council. Is the Mothership Core still alive? Did it fall? Where is it at? It's sitting at the natural, or it's sitting at his base. Okay, so he still has that.
Overcharge going to be useful.
Oh yeah, for sure. Can pick off quite a few middles there early on. Gonna pick off a couple overlords here, and that's gonna supply block sLivko. And this kind of situation, you need all the larvae, you need all of your minerals. You cannot be affording to have to spend extra money on overlords.
That's right, he might need to make another spawning pool soon because the one in the 12 o'clock position is slowly whittling away because it's no longer on creep. A queen or 2 would be very useful as well for sLivko here, and he's actually going straight back into the spire, so he wants to make more mutalisks and try and win the long game by getting more mutalisks, picking off a Void Ray there. Very, very nice pick off by those mutalisks. sLivko's going to be very happy with that. And, well, BlinG is now back up to 9 probes, but there are 33 drones from sLivko out on the field.
This is such a tense game. You know, these small mistakes on both ends. sLivko has been so active with his mutalisk right now, constantly trying to do as much damage as possible, forcing BlinG to maneuver himself into positions he doesn't want to. Will we see an aggressive BlinG underneath the mutalisk? We will. Says a few damage to that. Photon overcharge immediately going down. Going to start targeting out one of those mutalisks and force the mutalisk to kind of just chill in this corner. Going to end up flying through and pick off as many probes as it can. Mutalisk 1 is going to fall, but
he's going for the Mothership Core.
Not a good thing.
No,
Does
he's not.
End up getting away.
He was very close to being able to snipe off that Mothership Core, actually. He was hanging around the Nexus for a very, very long time here. And BlinG about to save it, and it looks like a Queen is going to chase away a scout there from BlinG, but he now knows that mining is still going on the left-hand side. He sees the layer as well. A couple of spine cores definitely going to be very useful. And these mutas are just doing so much right now. Them combined with the base on the bottom right-hand side, which is starting to get saturated now, by the way. So more drones being produced there soon. might mean that in the long haul, sLivko will be able to get his economy back on track.
With 9 Mutalisks on the way, I'm really starting. And look at his bank that he's got saved up right now from just this constant mining at this 5th base over here. sLivko's going to be able to slowly muscle his way into this game. He's got 13 Mutalisks in production. That's going to put him up to 24 mutas. You know, BlinG is going to have to play so defensively. He needs to rebuild that Twilight Council and get Templar out, get some Archons out, or the Mutalisks are just going to overrun him.
Yeah, I think really without worrying about army composition here, sLivko just needs to absolutely go for the hammer to the face, and he's doing that with these Mutalisks. More and more of them coming out. Still another 5 in production right now, and he's very quickly going to reach a point where he can just take this army out completely head on, and that's exactly what he's going to do in the middle of the map. More units being hallucinated up, but it's not going to matter. Way too many Mutalisks here, and BlinG supply drops below 40, soon to be dropping below 30 as well. Another Immortal gets taken apart, and sLivko is now 60 supply ahead.
And there we go. GG. sLivko's going to take the series 2-1. Really well played from both these guys. Such a close series, but sLivko going to take his spot in the round of 4, making him 1 series away from qualifying, winning the free flight and hotel to IEM China.